What's up guys, welcome to another Scratch tutorial. This is part 5 on how to make a maze game in Scratch, and in this video I'll be fixing some bugs, making some changes to some sprites, and showing you how to add a new level. So anyways, without further ado, let's get started. So here's the code from last time, and if you haven't seen parts 1 through 4 yet, you can check them out, links in description. But first, I will fix the first bug, which is when I open the shop, the enemy moves through the wall, which I don't want. So to fix this, I'm going to put set shop open to false under here, and I'm going to go to the shop button sprite and delete this piece of code, and I'm going to drag this above the if else statement, and I'm going to drag an if statement around all of this code and check if shop opened is equal to false. So the enemy will only move when the shop is equal to false. And as you can see, the enemy does not go through the wall, which is exactly what I want. But also, as you can see, since the player does not move, the enemy shouldn't. Since the enemy doesn't move, the player shouldn't move either. So I'm going to go into the player sprite and drag an if statement around all of these pink blocks, which we have made, and I'm going to drag a shop opened variable, and I will type in false. So these 3 blocks will only run if shop opened is equal to false. So now if I open the shop, I can't move around or anything, which is exactly what I want. So I'm going to make some changes to the shop item sprite. Since we have 2 pieces of code, both inside 2 events, I'm going to make it a bit more neater and organized. So I'm going to drag a when I start as a clone, and I'm going to drag this under here and just take this out. This won't change anything really, but it just makes the code more neatly and organized. So when I open the shop, they will still show up normally, and also hide normally also. So the next thing I want to change is I'm going to drag a when I receive next level. Well, it's over here, but I'm going to set all coins to 0. I'm going to set coins to 0, and also I'm going to create a new variable, and I'm going to call this money, and make sure this is all for all sprites. So I'm going to set money to 0, and every time the player collects a coin, I'm going to change money by 1. And yep, that's all for now. I'm going to hide the mouse X and mouse Y variables, and also hide the clone number. So if I collect some coins, as you can see, the money changes by 1, which is exactly what I want. And just so you know, the money variable is how much money the player has in all. The coins is how much the player has in one level, and the all coins is how much coins are in one level. And the money variable can change if you spend money on the shop or if you collect more coins in new levels. And I'm going to show you how to create another level, just in case if you didn't know. So I'm going to go into the backdrops. So the first step is to create your level. And I have a level from my backpack. And this level, you can create a level on your own, or you can copy off of mine. So I have some places to put the enemies, and some places to put the coins. And I added some spikes. So I'm going to move this down. Okay. So I want the starting point to be over here and the finishing point to be over here. So that's the second step, to place the finishing point and the starting point. So I'm going to duplicate this, change this to 4, and I want the starting point to be over here. So that is x -13 and y -153. And the finishing point to be over here. So I'm going to duplicate this, put it inside the else, and change this to 4. And I'm going to make this go to 192 and 158. So the next step is to place the coins. So I'm going to duplicate this and put it under there, and I'm going to use the coin trick. So I'm going to switch the level to level 3. So I want one coin to be over here. So I need to show the mouse X and mouse Y variables. So that is -124 and -153. And I want one coin to be over here. So that is 183 and 57. And I want one coin to be over here. So that is x -39 and y 35. And the last coin is going to be hidden over here. So I'm going to drag another block, and this will be -197. And this one will be 161. And I am also going to do the enemies. So I want 2 enemies. So I'm going to duplicate this, change this to 4. So since I want 2 enemies, I'm going to drag another create clone at XY block. I want one coin to be over here. So that is -218. So -206. And this one, y will be 69. And another enemy to be in the middle. So that is 50 and 35. So I am going to test this out. And right now the enemies are not, and the coins are not spawning because we have these waits until, so I'm just going to take this out. But we need to put them back in when we are going to play the whole game. So I got enemies spawning and the coins are not spawning. Oh, this needs to be 4. Okay, so now the coins are spawning and I will try to dodge the enemies. Oh, and one thing I need to make sure is when the enemy is dead, the player is dead, we need to make sure the enemies respawn. So to do this, I want them to go back to their original position. So I'm going to call a broadcast to check if dead. So in the player sprite, once touch the enemies, I'm going to broadcast a new message, and I'm going to call this message reset enemies. But I'm not going to reset the coins, just the enemies. And when I receive reset enemies, I'm going to check if the I'm going to take this backdrop number is equal to 3. Then I'm going to reset it over there. And if it's I'm going to change this to an if-else statement instead. And if its backdrop number is equal to 4, then I'm just to duplicate both of these and put inside here. But also, one thing you need to make sure is that we create new enemies. So I need to drag a repeat loop, and I'm going to repeat one time, delete all the clones, and then spawn them again. So when I die, the enemies go back where they are. And as you can see, the enemy just stops there. That's because the enemy stops when it touches the color black. And our player is the color black. So the easiest way to fix this is just make the color a different color. I'm going to make it blue instead of black. But you can make it any other color. So now the player will die and the enemy will not stop. Okay, so that is exactly what I want. And one thing I want to change, or I want to add something, I'm going to drag an if-else statement and check if touching mouse pointer. Then I'm going to set the brightness effect to 30, or I'm going to change this to 50, else I'm going to set the brightness effect to 0. And when the green flag is clicked, I'm going to set the brightness effect to 0 also. So I click the shop, I can hover over these and they turn brighter, which is exactly what I want. And I need to make sure these are in the front layer, so I'm going to make this, I'm not going to make this transparent anymore. So I'm going to clear the graphic effects. Now if I open the shop, as you can see, they are normal, which is exactly what I want. And in the next video, I will be making it so that you can purchase the items, probably adding new levels and fixing some other bugs. But that's all for today. I hope you enjoyed it. Leave a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already. And thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next Scratch tutorial. Peace out.